There are some very angry or excited birds. Actually, I can see the little finch. He's on the corner of the roof of the neighbor's house, and he looks too small to be making that noise that you hear. Oh, he's flying closer. He's on the branch of the dead tree that I just took video of. And I wonder if he's gonna ruin this recording past the point of using it anyway. I think he's going away. I don't know. No, I'm not gonna say I don't know a bunch of times and make excuses. I'm sitting on a chair with my feet propped on another chair, forming a sort of triangle with my legs, upon which I have propped a clipboard that holds a pad of engineer's paper that I got from Office Max. And on that paper I'm writing a letter to Gabriel, who I've written letters to since well before I could drive, and I'm 20 now, so substantial amount of time. That's about the most detailed answer to the question of how long I've written letters to him that I could give. A substantial amount of time. And I took all this footage of the snake plant that I have, that I've had for a while. A substantial amount of time? No, not that long. And I think I just wanted to introduce you to my backyard. The clover flowers. There's interesting shadows that I'd like to take video of after this because they make nice shapes. I should do that soon because they move with the daylight and it's a good time of day for them and they'll be gone soon. But the clover flowers, they grow tall and I think about picking them all because they're beautiful, but I feel sort of terrible about the idea of picking them all until I realize, too late, that someone mows the grass and cuts all their heads off. So really I should pick as many as I please because they're going to be dead soon anyway. I don't think that's a metaphor, but I could be wrong. Right, so I'm writing this letter, and the letter is about what this video is about, or what it will be about. And I've been thinking about this quote that I read online. I really should know the quote. I don't. Something about how fools are always looking for a good way to begin, and wise men are looking for a good way to end. But I think I always go too far in the ending direction because I rarely spend time thinking of what I'll do tomorrow or in the next hour, and I spend a lot of time feeling like I have 400,000 things to accomplish before I get to where I want to be. And I'm thinking of where I want to be and how many things there are to get there. And I'm doing one of them, like I'm writing or, reading, or painting, or etc. And I'm thinking that this right here that I'm doing now is not enough, and it's hard for me to feel like I'm on my way, or that I have begun, or that I am beginning. It just feels like there's this mountain. And trying to think of what's on the other side of it, or what the mountain is, or what I want to do with the mountain in this metaphor, but I don't know. Not even a little bit. I'm trying not to think about the mosquitoes that are biting me right now, but there are many of them, and I am sure that they have commenced their feast. But I've resolved to post things anyway. Like, despite this feeling of inadequacy that I would be crushed by if I let myself, and I don't think I want to be doing that thing where I ask, do you know, when you can't answer. You could answer. If you wanted, you could send me a message or make a comment, but, the I just did it again. The likelihood of that is pretty low, judging by the utter lack of engagement on any other things I've made. What I mean is, let's get back to it, that I'm going to make things that make me cringe, that feel like they're terrible, and that I dislike immensely, and I'm going to put them in the world, and they're going to represent me. And that's just the way it's got to be, because I am never going to be satisfied with what I make, and I'm never going to feel like it's an adequate representation of me or what I want to make in the world, and especially it will never be adequate if I never put anything there. I have to maybe do a bunch of terrible things before I can do good things. I'm remembering an NPR podcast, or something NPR related, where someone said, I'm gonna have to look this up, but someone was talking about how when you start, everything is terrible, because, and by everything is terrible, I mean I'm terrible, because I have good taste, and that somehow being terrible is good, because it means that your taste is better than your ability to produce work, and it's only by producing really terrible work that you can eventually get to the stuff that fits your taste. And I guess that's easy for someone at NPR to say from their, fancy recording studio, but yeah, maybe I do need to make terrible things, and maybe I am doing it right now. Sort of a larger example of the clover flower issue that, upon reflection, does seem a little bit metaphorical. There were also these peonies, which is a type of flower. It's not, I don't know. They're peonies, and they were light pink and beautiful, and the landlord had planted them at the edge of the yard. I have footage of it with my snake plant in front of it. You can probably see some of the brown withered flowers, because I didn't pick them because I thought they're too beautiful to pick, but they die so fast. It's like, I should have. The very loud bird is back. He's on the exact same corner of the house. So now all of these peonies are dead, and if I had picked them, I think what happens with flower plants is that when you cut off the blooms, they produce like even more blooms than before. My first boyfriend, my high school boyfriend, his parents were really into rose gardening, and they had these rose plants, and every time I would come to his house to pick him up, I would drive up into his driveway, and in his front yard would be all of these roses, like just rotting there. Like sometimes they were fresh roses, and the parents never put them in vases or picked them to enjoy them. They would cut off the flowers every time they bloomed, or it seemed that way to me. I never asked, but maybe I did. I don't remember. The memory is fuzzy. I just remember seeing the flowers dead in the front yard all the time and thinking how terrible it was that they would spend so much time, gardening and raising these flowers only to cut them off and throw them away as soon as they bloomed. And I suppose they were working towards an ideal rose bush where the blooms were perfect and therefore no longer needed to be cut off. I think it's something about redirecting the plant's nutrients into new growth rather than what is already grown. But I should have just picked the peonies. That's the moral of this story. There's definitely a metaphor in there. Youth. #YOLO. Etc. Is it cheap to end on etc.? I think it might be,